Bahamas' position on migration has been consistent, both in the FNM and the PLP. Our position is that the Bahamas do not have the resources to deal or accommodate with large migration flows.
The Bahamas just rejected a proposal from Donald Trump's administration to take in migrants that Donald Trump plans to deport in his second term. So the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Philip Davis, just told reporters that his island received a proposal from Trump's transition team to, quote, accept deportation flights of migrants from other countries, end quote. And in response to this proposal, the Prime Minister said the Bahamas has, quote, reviewed and firmly rejected the proposal.
Hey fam, Gracie here once again. Welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that from wherever you, my people watching this from, you're doing alright and God has protected you and preserved you very well. To you that continuously support me on here, that really means a lot to me. So thank you so very much for your support. Now, as usual, we do have an interesting episode to look at. Yes, the MAGAs, they are about to get stuck with the people they never wanted in their countries. And that's because the person they voted for thinking is going to clear and clean the country, he doesn't have any plan. He's looking at other third worlds, impoverished countries to drop these migrants. That is in case, you know, the countries where they're coming from reject them. And it's so interesting that he's sending proposals to different countries, including the island of Bahamas, and the Prime Minister came out to say, hey, we have rejected this. So I don't know what the MAGAs are going to be thinking about this when they realize that most of the countries where this guy wants to drop these migrants, they are saying no, and these people are going to be stuck in their country without any solution, without any plan B. According to some news that are coming in, yes, some countries are already saying, no, we don't want to take in nobody. And we do have a few people that are reacting to this. So I'm going to put these, videos together. We will watch them, definitely come back and talk about it.
Issued the statement this morning about the proposal from the Trump transition team in terms of deportation flights. Was this request made directly to the government?
So my understanding, and I would want you guys to speak much more specifically to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Office of the Prime Minister did issue a statement this morning in response to a proposal by the transition of the Trump administration. Let me also be clear that the Bahamas' position on migration has not changed. It has been the same from when Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham was Prime Minister during the challenges with Aristide and Haiti and the turmoil. Then Prime Minister Ingraham was approached by the U.S. government with the same issue of migration. This is not a contentious issue between the government of the Bahamas and the Trump administration. This has been very consistent. We see the U.S. as our partners. We look forward to working along with the government of the Bahamas, look forward to working along with the incoming Trump administration. These are regional security challenges, but the position of the Bahamas has always been consistent, regardless of the current administration in the United States.
This deportation flights, these are not just Bahamians, these are other nationals as well they're proposing.
The proposals speak to other nationals from other countries. But I just want to reiterate that this is not a contentious issue between the government of the Bahamas or the incoming Trump administration. We see the United States, the government of the Bahamas see the United States as our valued partners. We share a lot of mutual interests on the issue of national security. The Prime Minister and by extension the administration look forward to working along with the incoming Trump administration. The Bahamas' position on migration has been consistent, both in the FNM and the PLP. Our position is that the Bahamas do not have the resources to deal or accommodate with large migration flows.
How has the government taken in light of what has come out with the U.S. saying that, it has been agreed that they will send migrants to the Bahamas?
It's not been agreed. It's not been agreed.
And just to be clear, did the transitionary team speak to or express concerns about Bahamians unlawfully residing in the U.S.?
Oh, pardon me?
The Trump transitional team.
I cannot speak to the specifics of the proposal outside the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. What I can speak to is the statement that the Office of the Prime Minister released this morning.
You didn't really answer my question though. Did that team send a request?
Yes, yes.
Marvin Dames, he said that it's troubling the fact that the Bahamas and a lot of the officials here in the Bahamas did not know about this U.S. indictment before, does this administration feel, one, disrespected at the fact that it just was dropped on our laps? And also, are you concerned at the fact that our relationships with our allies in the U.S. and in the region could be falling because of this situation?
The Prime Minister had the opportunity to speak with the U.S. Charge of Affairs. They both sides reconfirmed their partnership. The Bahamas, like I said previously, we value our relationship with our U.S. counterparts, and they feel the exact same way. Both countries have an obligation to their national security priorities, and they will do what is in the best interest of their citizens and their jurisdiction, and we will respect them for that. I mean, at the same time, that will not impact our relationship, the government of the Bahamas' relationship with the United States. I have said several times in this press conference that the relationship between the U.S. government and the Bahamas government remains strong. We will always share a special relationship when it comes to national security priorities. The Prime Minister reaffirmed his administration partnership with the U.S. government, and both sides agree that they will work towards helping the government achieve the objective of shaking those bad apples out of the Bahamas police force.
NBC News has now learned the Trump administration is preparing a list of places where it might deport migrants if their home countries will not accept them back. That's all according to 3 sources familiar with those plans. The specific details, though, they're still unclear, but Trump has repeatedly promised to carry out what he calls the largest deportation operation in American history once he takes office. NBC News Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley joins us now with more on her exclusive reporting. Julia, first, just reporter to reporter, my hat is completely off to you for all the late-breaking details you've managed to get about this new plan, which a lot of us are unclear about how it would actually work. So which countries are on the list?
Yeah, Morgan. Well, as a reporter, sometimes we find these details and we don't exactly know the how. We just know what they're talking about. And in this case, they're talking about sending migrants who were arrested in the United States back to the countries of Turks and Caicos, Panama, Grenada, and the Bahamas, even though these migrants are not from there. This is their workaround when there are lots of migrants in this country from countries that won't take them back. Places like Venezuela, places like Cuba. China takes back very few of their migrants. So this would mean taking those nationals who are in the United States and putting them on planes to those countries. It's unclear if they would be able to work there, if they'd be able to stay there permanently in a legal way. But we understand that that is the list the Trump administration is working on right now. They're trying to grow that list, and they're talking to these countries now to see if they can get to an agreement to be able to take back these people, simply because the Trump administration wants to be able to deport someone within 1 week of arresting them. This is their way to be able to carry out these plans for mass deportations and keep the numbers high without having a massive backlog within ICE detention here in the United States.
You know, within 1 week of arresting them, I mean, that's pretty quick. But what's interesting, Julia, is it feels like past this prologue here, because we've seen an element of this before. I mean, Mr. Trump had a similar policy to this during his first term. Back in 2019, his administration sent migrants to Guatemala, and they didn't even know where they were going. So how did that play out?
Yeah, that's right. We didn't get to see exactly what the full force of that policy could look like because COVID-19 happened and they started blocking migrants from crossing the border at all. But in the end of 2019, we saw the first flight. There was a Honduran man who was sent back to Guatemala. We were told by him and others who made that same journey, they didn't even know where they were going. They got on a flight thinking, okay, we might be going somewhere else in the United States. Perhaps we're being deported back to our home country. Instead, they were taken to Guatemala because Guatemala had an agreement with the United States to start taking back migrants who weren't from those countries. This is something Trump has done in the past. He could put pressure on these countries, either diplomatically, through tariffs. We know a lot of the countries on the list depend a lot on U.S. tourism right now. And so this is their way to try to really fully flex that policy, even though they were sued for it in the last administration.
The Bahamas just rejected a proposal from Donald Trump's administration to take in migrants that Donald Trump plans to deport in his second term. So the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Philip Davis, just told reporters that his island received a proposal from Trump's transition team to, quote, accept deportation flights of migrants from other countries, end quote. And in response to this proposal, the Prime Minister said the Bahamas has, quote, reviewed and firmly rejected the proposal. Basically, Donald Trump's big plan with his mass deportation program was to send migrants to places like the Bahamas, or as Reuters reports, Turks and Caicos, Panama, and Grenada, should their home countries reject them. The guy didn't even think through this plan. He just campaigned on it. Then he won, and now he has to deliver on his plan, but the islands are rejecting him. I guess it's back to the drawing board for Donald Trump.
So let me get this right. He plans to just dump people randomly on islands that are already impoverished from the effects of colonization without a care or concern for what those people are supposed to do, what kind of lives they're living. Some of these people have been in the United States for years. They don't have home bases nor families in these countries. This is the type of leadership our country has elected.
I'm so embarrassed. I got secondhand embarrassment. Because it's like, because I live in this country, the white people live here with us, and they picked him. People picked him. This man wanted to send these people to the fucking islands. And the islands was like, no. Why did he think he would be able to do that? I don't like it. It's like a bad dream. It's funny though.
I am sure that so many MAGAs now are realizing that they effed around and they are about to, find out. Because if these people are going to be stuck with you, and this is the reason as to why you voted this man, well, I don't know what you guys are going to do, because, man, people had so much confidence in him. Other countries have not come out to, say or respond to the proposals. Probably he has not sent them yet. But what if all these countries just, put their front feet in front of them and they're like, no, we ain't taking nobody? What are these people going to do? For me, it's very interesting. Lots of black people have come out to say, this man is a palm-colored supremacist. And lots of people don't want to believe that, right? But all the characters that he's displaying right now, are the typical characters of the supremacists, of them thinking that, hey, we have authority everywhere, we can command here, we just do this, and then Bahamas is going to accept, we do this, and then Panama is going to accept. These are sovereign countries that are already struggling, and then you want to drop people in these countries without even providing any solution. And these people are not a responsibility of these countries, right? You think you're just going to lift your burdens and put it onto other people's shoulders. Oh my goodness. He wants to carry all the people that he's labeling as, criminals, drug dealers, convicts, ex-prisoners, like runaways, and all of these people, and then he drops them. The audacity, the nuts, oh my God, the disrespect. So, America has standards, and according to its standards, these people do not fit to be there. But then they fit to be in Panama, they fit to be in Bahamas, they fit to be in all these third world countries that are already struggling with, high crime rates, unemployment and poverty. And you are already putting a burden on these people's resources, which are probably, I don't even know, because honestly, the same United States that is exploiting other people's resources, literally looting, is the same United States that wants to drop its burdens on others. This is the same thing the UK wanted to do, and dispose of the illegal migrants in Rwanda. And then for some reason, even the president of Rwanda, that guy, had literally accepted. But man, I think sometimes I don't literally get surprised, because some of these people, as much as they are going to say they are not puppets, they are super puppets. They really, at the core of everything, they really don't care about their people. And that's exactly what it is when it comes to Rwanda. Rwanda knows very well how to brand itself as one of the most beautiful, cleanest country. Now, I'm not trying to dismiss that all of these things are there. Yes, they are there. But the people in the country, they are not feeling the impact of all of this beauty that is being praised. So it's the outsiders that are praising this country, but the people within the country, when you reach and look at them, they literally look depressed. They look like they are stuck in a certain, generation. They are stuck somewhere. You understand? And so, yes, there are those people, there are those leaders that are going to accept this because of their selfish ambitions, but they are not going to take into consideration their own people and the impact this is going to have on their societies. Because if you are already bringing people that are struggling, those people literally went and came to those countries because they were struggling, right? And they have not made it yet, and you want to deposit, at least take them back to their country. That would make sense, right? And I don't understand the theory behind, their country is not going to accept them. This is where things get messy. Because how can you tell me now, the country where they came from, they're not going to accept them? We have a saying that beggars don't have a choice. If you have nationals in this country, take them in. Yes, take them in. But my goodness, Canada of recent came out and was like, we are strengthening our borders too. We don't want none of them. We don't want their criminals. Where is the immigrant going to go if all countries decide to close their doors? Is he going to arrest them and then, pew them, unalive them? Probably not. So, those that had higher expectations in some of his policies, you are about to be beautifully shocked. Which, of course, some of these people have already started feeling it. Yes, they have already started regretting. So this is another F around and find out. What do you guys think? Do you think he has a plan B if all that he's trying to do fails? Because apparently these people may not be going anywhere anytime soon. Yeah, put your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel if you have not, and I'll definitely see you in another amazing video. My name is Gracie and I love you all. Bye.